Today's You Ask, I Answer. Glenn asks, what's the best way to use Google Data Studio for marketing reporting? A great question. There is no best way. There are ways to think about setting up Google Data Studio or any dashboarding tool that will help you get the answers you want as quickly as possible. That's the point of all dashboarding and visualization software is, can we get to the answers we want as quickly as possible without having to go all over the place? And one of the advantages of Data Studio is, well, there's like three main advantages of Data Studio. One, it connects to Google Analytics natively, which 80% of marketers or some crazy high stat like that use Google Analytics, even if they have another analytics package in as well alongside it. And you can connect natively in Data Studio. Second, Google Search Console connects natively, which is super important. If you're a marketer and you're not using Google Search Console, you're kind of doing it wrong. And third, its price tag is $0 for up to 5 dashboards. So there's absolutely no reason why marketers should not be using Data Studio, even if you're using other solutions for data visualization. With dashboarding in general, you want to tell stories with your data. You want to be able to lead people through a logical sequence of the data. So before you sit down and do a dashboard, you want to catalog what are the KPIs, what are the metrics, what are the overall goals, what are the things that lead into those goals, and that's what you want to use to organize a dashboard intelligently. If you don't do that, what you're going to do is just put a whole bunch of stuff on a screen, and no one's going to have any idea how to read it. It's very, very difficult to read. I am guilty of that 8 ways to Sunday. So let me show you an example of what I use. This is not the right way by any means. This is unique to my personal website, and we'll talk about some of these variables and data points. And feel free to adapt these ideas to your own Data Studio dashboards. What we've got here are 5 sections. First up top are the big numbers. These are the things that are most relevant, that if you looked at nothing else, you'd want to know these numbers. Second section on the right here are the control selectors, so you can change dates and things and dynamically adjust your data. Third, the green section are important KPIs and sort of the information that feeds into those. The yellow section is more granular detail about some of those KPIs and their diagnostics, and then the red section is very granular detail about one specific one specific way of digging into the data. So let's go ahead and look at this. Up top in the big numbers, I have revenue. I have an e-commerce website. I sell books on my site, so I can track e-commerce transactions. If you don't do e-commerce, if you're B2B, for example, or B2C, brick and mortar, you may want to put like goal value instead here, assuming that you've got goals and goal values set up on your website. The second is goal completions. Goal completions is, of course, any goal that you set up in Google Analytics that is meaningful to you. This shows you the overall number of goals within the time period that you've selected to look at. Third, for me, is users. You'll notice throughout this report, I use users instead of sessions or page views. And the reason why is I want to know the total number of human beings that I'm reaching. I don't necessarily care how many pages they look at. If you're a publisher, you obviously care about page views, for example, because you're getting paid on ad impressions. And so users might be a less interesting number to you than those ad impressions. And finally here, this is a Search Console number. I want to know how many branded search clicks I got. So people searching for me personally. Now, if you were a company, you'd want to do something like branded searches for your products and services and things. So for Brain Trust Insights, I'd want to know how many people were searching for Brain Trust Insights or our marketing GPS service, and that would be a number I'd roll up here. So that's the top line numbers. Again, if I look at nothing else, these are the numbers that I need to pay attention to know how my website is doing. Revenue, going great. Goals, going great. Users, not so good. And then URL clicks, not so good. Now, if we expand the time frame, obviously, numbers change around a lot and things. We see users, all these charts readjust. So you can tell a different story based on the data you choose to look at. I like 28 days because it's a rolling, and I don't like 30 days because 28 days is 4 weeks, 4 physical calendar weeks, which means that when Google does the period over period reporting, it's the same physical number of days. If you do 30 days, sometimes you'll have like a weekend in there, an extra weekend in there, and that can really throw your number. So stick to 28 days as much as you can. Now, on the left-hand side, what we see here, we see goals and traffic. So blue is the number of users, red is the number of completions. Is there a trend, and how well do these two relate? Now, what I've had to do here is set 2 different axes, one for the users, one for the goal completions. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see, the red lines would be minuscule. So is there a relationship between these two? And you can see there's a weekly relationship, obviously, in terms of a trend relationship. There actually isn't. So that's something that I would want to know and maybe think about, like, I wonder why it is that users don't necessarily lead to goals. That's a good question to ask there. But this graph answers the question, what's happening? What are the big trends? Second is the brand awareness. This is Search Console data. I have filtered this to just branded searches. So I built a filter that says I want to match only on like my name. And then take a look. What are the trends here? I probably should change it over to having data labels on here. But what do I see? Impressions are the number of times people searched that my site came up in a search, and then the clicks are the number of times I got the click. Obviously, if I'm not getting a substantial number of clicks for each impression, then my SEO has gone horribly wrong. So you can get a little bit of insight into different ways people search for your branded products and services, but more than anything, you want to make sure that you're getting a decent amount of clicks for things that are clearly your brand. If you're not, you need to work on your SEO. So that's what question this answers. This section here is, where's my traffic coming from by source? Google, and then what is the relationship between the users and the goal completions? If they're looking for anomalies here, so like here, Twitter gives me slightly more goal completions than say Bing. For relatively comparable amounts of traffic, that's a useful thing to know. So I want to know what's giving me my conversions, what's giving me my traffic, and then other things where this will help me prioritize. So clearly, I need to if I care about conversions, I really gotta focus in on Google, because that's where all the traffic's coming from. Likewise, organic search clearly is a major traffic driver. The email referral traffic. This is interesting. I might want to dig into this some more. I might even create a separate dashboard to see where my referrals are coming from as a way to understand it better. And then here on top content by traffic, what pages are getting my users, and how many of those users are new. I like to know the new user number personally, because I want to know how impactful a page is for search. The more new users, typically, the more, if your site is search heavy, which mine is, I want to know what pages are attracting lots and lots and lots of new users. Here's one that is in the top 10. 97% new, and this is from 2010, so this is clearly a page that I need to go and freshen up and to improve what it does for people. So that's my dashboard. Again, you're going to want to customize this for your own goals, for your own metrics, for the things that will help you answer questions. The golden rule is if you can't clearly articulate what question this answers on a dashboard, it shouldn't be on the dashboard, because you're just spitting up data at that point. And if it doesn't tell a story, biggest numbers, okay, someone looks at this and goes, okay, well, why is this up or down? You should be able to look through here and dig in and go, oh, okay, that's why it's up or down. I can see a story being told across these different sections of the dashboard. Not everything needs to be on a dashboard. Or certainly, if you have a lot of stuff and there's some numbers you are just so in love with, put them on a separate page. But for your big page, only focus on the things that your stakeholders care about, and make it tell a story. Third, with dashboards, make sure that you're making different dashboards for different stakeholders. This is mine for me for my business. If I was preparing this for a CEO, this could look very different. The CEO probably doesn't care about this whole section here. They may not even care about this section. They may only care about this section and this section, so I could eliminate these two sections. I might have a white space here where I just write some descriptive narrative so that the CEO can get an update on a less frequent basis, but just see the numbers they care about. If this is the CFO, I might have this section here, might be all the, what are the different products and the revenues that are that I can break out, because they would want to know that. They would want to know sales and inventory and things like that. So every dashboard is going to be different based on the audience you're making it for. The rule of thumb I use is that by vertical within a company, each vertical has its own type of dashboard. Operations is going to have a different one from finance, is going to have a different one from marketing. And then every level in your organization also has its own dashboard. So what the account coordinator or the marketing coordinator gets is very different than what the CMO should get. They should be very different dashboards. So that's what I use for Data Studio, and the best way to use it is to customize it for the audience that's going to be watching it and looking at your dashboard. So great question, Glenn. As always, subscribe to the newsletter and the YouTube channel. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. If you want help with your company's data and analytics, visit braintrustinsights.com today and let us know how we can help you.